to the item. It's 13 on 401. This is Thriving Town Centres Guidance for Urban Regen. We've had a number of workshops on this one. I'm going to cut out the intro. I'm going to go straight to the business, and we've got the motions before us. I'll move those motions. In fact, would somebody else like to move those motions?
I'm happy to move, Chair, if Vessel.
I'll second Cooper.
Councillor Cooper seconding, and we have Giles Bendel and others. I think we're going to open with Giles. And Giles, can you briefly take us through this, which have been well socialised through the workshop, though it was some time ago? I'll leave it with you, Giles.
Thank you, Chair. Just a quick question. I do have 4 or 5 slides I could quickly run through just to remind people if that's appropriate. I'm just conscious of time.
Yes, it is some time, and we still want to do our business well. So, Giles, please proceed with those slides.
Thank you. I'll just share those now.
Hang on, it's been writing order.
Right, hopefully that's up there now.
We can see it, yes.
Cool. Thank you. So thank you through the chair. For those who don't know me, I'm Giles Bendel, General Manager of Design at Place at Iki Panuku. We've also got a couple of other staff members, Naomi Kramer and Duncan Ecob, online, who have been driving this project forward, and they can help with any questions that you might have. And just very briefly, what we're seeking for from you is endorsement of Iki Panuku's Thriving Town Centres document, which is a guidance document for urban regeneration for town centres in Tamaki Makaurau. So I've just, all I'll do now is just got a couple of very quick slides, and partially just a reminder, as you said, Chair, we have been through a couple of workshops with you, but that was back in October. So I'll just quickly touch on a few things. So the purpose of this document is really over the formation of Iki Panuku, 5-6 years ago, we have created a lot of approaches and standards and processes, but they're all been a little bit disparate. So this was a great opportunity for us to put it all into one cohesive guidance document. Part of it was around improving our transparency and understanding with our stakeholders and partners around our role. So there's a very simple document that people can refer to. It was an opportunity for us to go through all the council plans and policies and make sure we are still consistent with the drivers that you have as these have evolved in recent years. And it was very much around giving our teams some clear guidance for all our locations and work programs, and that's in part to lift our game, to continue to do so, and also to make sure we've got consistency across how we operate. And it's also just a quick recognition that no town centres that we operate in are the same, so that's why these are called guidance. And that really kind of gives us a bit of pointers about what we should consider in locations, but it's not a rule book because you can't apply everything for every location. In terms of engagement, just thought I'd highlight this. I just wanted to take my hat off to the team. They've done a huge amount of engagement, very extensive across the council group, stakeholders, partners and specialist groups. And this was a really valuable exercise for us. In part, it gave us the opportunity to share what we do and what we're trying to achieve in locations, but do that in much more of a strategic conversation rather than at a project level, which you can get stuck into the weeds a little bit. And I think that was a really good opportunity for us just to talk through various people and what we do, and also certainly just in terms of the quality of information we got out of those groups to form up the structure and the content of the document. And as you mentioned, Chair, we came to the Planning Committee workshop back in October. We got really a lot of very good feedback from you then, ranging from economics of centre, being people focused, ensuring that we have integration with transport, and how this can play out in other centres, not just our priority locations. You also suggested that we speak to a few other groups, disability groups, youth groups, and other social sectors, which we've done so. So all of that has built up a broader picture, and that's been included in the final document that you have. Just in terms of structure, I'm not going to go through the document at all, but I just thought this slide is quite useful just to very briefly explain how it all works. We have 3 key foundations that sit in behind this document, which is the mana whenua outcomes, equity being the second, and equity was quite a strong thematic that came through from council and many of the groups that we talked to. And then the third one was regenerative design, which is that's really us trying to go beyond sustainability, because we can't sustain what we're doing. It's not good enough. So it's the next step up of regenerative design, and looking very much into a systems approach. So having quite a wide peripheral view about our impact and what we need to consider. And then the core of the document is really around 6 principles. And this is all built off our collective local knowledge and our experience, the engagement that we undertook, and also studying international best practice. And these were kind of the common factors that came through. So that is the unique identity, integrated transport, supportive communities, thriving natural environment, urban living, prosperous and robust local economy. And then underneath those, we have half a dozen criteria that kind of build up the picture. So when you start thinking in that space. And then the last slide, just a sort of a pragmatic, how will these be used? So this is very much around communication, advocacy and transparency, so people understand what we do and how we do it. A reference document for any new staff that join Iki Pānuku Council, but also very much our existing staff. It captures our agreed standards and things like Homestar ratings that we're trying to achieve through developments. So it's a very easy go-to document. It's going to be a reference document as we go through any master planning work, or when we assess our work, that we have a common approach to doing that. It's going to build up our monitoring framework, so that when we start assessing whether or not we're being successful or not, we've got a similar basis to go off. If we have any new locations that council would like us to work on, this will be the filter that we look, the lens that we look through to make sure that our programs are healthy, and equally so for any existing programs that we do, we're doing constant reviews on those. So this will again help lift our game and make sure that we're considering everything that we should as we go forward. And lastly, for any other organisations or local boards or anyone that's working within town centres, urban regeneration, we hope that this might be useful for them as well. So I'd just like to say, lastly, just an opportunity to thank the team that have been involved in this. They've done a huge amount of work, and also those that have been so generous in their contributions. This has really created a fantastic document that we're really proud of. So thank you, Chair. That's all I really wanted to cover off. Hopefully that was brief enough, and we're hoping to gain your endorsement tonight, if that's okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Giles. And look, thanks to your team. Naomi Kramer has been involved with this, and Brennan Waghorn and Duncan Ecob and others. You've responded well to our workshop, and I recall the questions that were asked of you there, and you've responded to every one of them. So thank you so much. Now, members, are there any questions on this particular paper? I'll just, just bring up my chat. Questions on this paper?
From Councillor Filipaina, Chair.
Yes, Councillor Filipaina, your partai, please.
Kia ora, thank you, Chair. Giles, thank you so much for this. The only partai I have is that in February last month, Ngā Hapori Momoho was Thriving Community Strategy was adopted by the PACE Committee, was moved by Councillor Collins, seconded by Councillor Hills. You mentioned in your slides that you have been working with within council. So is this part of the consultation and working with as well, the Thriving Community Strategy?
Giles.
Sorry, yes. Naomi, are you going to?
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, it is. And we've met with the Thriving Communities team, and these two strategies are mutually supportive of one another. So, yeah, we're very aligned with it.
Kia ora, thank you, Naomi. Thank you,
Kia ora,
Chair.
Al.
Thank you. There's no further questions, so I'll go to the vote, and I again acknowledge all the teams that have been working on this. So we'll go to the vote now. The motion is moved by Councillor Collins and seconded by Councillor Cooper. It's before us and it's asking us to endorse. All those in favour say aye.
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 Aye. Thank you so much.
You're muted.
Hello.
It's carried unanimously, and thank you, Eke Panuku. Now,
Thank you very
members,
much.